welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Youth Voice Show here on Hope Channel, Uganda. And thank you so much for making a date with us and taking your time to be here with us and to follow our conversations right here. Now, young people struggle with so many things. You have the fear that comes from work, that comes from career advancement, that comes from relationship, that comes from family, and you have the different challenges that they face here and there in their day-to-day lives. And on this particular episode of the Youth Voice Show and today, we are going to be discussing anxiety, fear, and stress. Finding peace. How can you be able to overcome fear as a young person? How can you overcome anxiety? And how can you be able to find peace in such a turbulent world with everything that goes on around us? And to help us dissect this conversation, I am having a very distinguished panel of young people who are not new to this show. And on my extreme right, I am having my very good brother and friend, Mr. Musinguzi Laban.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Musinguzi Laban is a civil engineer. Laban, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And right over here next to me, I am having my very good sister, Miss Lilian Chitimbo. She comes to us from Limco Queen University of Creative Technology, and she's a student of Creative Multimedia. Lilian, it's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And then right over there, I'm having a very good young lady, Miss Vaiga Rachel. Rachel is a trained nurse, and she's also a counselor. Rachel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
And then lastly but not least, I'm having my very good brother and friend, Mr. Agaba Edwin Wambale. Agaba Edwin comes to us from SDA Church Emmaus, and he's a civil engineer by training and practice.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you, brother. Yes, and to start us off, I'm going to start with you, Edwin. I just want you to define in the simplest terms, what does anxiety, fear, and stress mean to you? How do you want the viewer out there to understand these terms?
Thank you so much. Anxiety. To the best of my knowledge, anxiety is a feeling of unease, a feeling of worry about the future that you are not certain about. That is how I would define anxiety. Feeling constantly worried,
Yes.
being uneasy about future expectations that you are not really certain about. You don't know how the outcome will be and whatever. That's how I would define anxiety. And then with fear is a response to a threat.
Yes.
It could be a real threat, or it could be something that you perceive will be a threat. And so your response to it, you're scared of whatever the outcomes will be. That is your response to that. Then stress, in simple terms, when you are overburdened, say by finances, by relationships, by the common things around us, you feel your mind cannot take them anymore, or it cannot handle their breadth or how big they are. You get that stress. That's, in simple terms, that's how I would define those three.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for those definitions now. Let's talk about the common things that young people worry about. The common things that make young people anxious, that make them stressful, and that take away their peace of mind. What are those common things? And I'm going to start with Laban over there.
Thank you so much. The first things, or the common things that I can mention, first of all, we have the academics. Many of you here are in that sector. The high performance, the exams. Today morning, I was speaking with one of my friends, and she was crying because she had few days to finish the research, and she was like, this is a retake. There is no way I'm missing this. Then another trigger can be a family, conflicts at home, divorce, and these bring a lot of stress, anxiety, and fear to us because you look what will happen when mom leaves dad. Will I still get the support? Even the bonds that are there, these are the bonds that keep us moving, happy and smiling every day. The other trigger, we can also talk about the comparison, comparing ourselves with others, social media, and the era of upgrade, whereby every day there is an upgrade. Today you have this iPhone
13.
tomorrow there is,
iPhone 16.
and you have an Android, and you are sitting among Apple guys.
Just to amplify that, where I was studying my university, it would be a shame to have a phone that is not Samsung or iPhone. It would be a big problem. You don't have a phone.
Really?
So
Have a
everybody there
calculator,
would have that pressure. You must have an iPhone or a Samsung. If you don't have, at least you get a covering with that and plenty.
Yeah.
So because you don't fit in, you compare yourself with your classmates, and they are calling you, and the ringtone is not that.
Yes,
that
iPhone.
Yeah, it is true. Even some of our fellows who are watching us, even some here, they may be working to get an Apple what? An Apple phone. Then also the relationships can be just mere friendships. Then there are these romantic breakups, and it may not yet have developed into a breakup, but there is that stress. He's not picking my calls. He's far.
Yes. Does he love
She,
me?
as in. Then also feeling isolated. Young people are in companies, and because he doesn't fit or she doesn't fit others, they isolate him or her, and that is another trigger. Then lastly, that I can say is the unexpected tomorrow, future.
Yes.
Many of our age mates, we are in transitional period.
Yes.
School to work, singleness to marriage.
Yes.
So
You.
there is a lot of uncertainty that you don't know what will happen tomorrow. You feel like God can show you which man I will have tomorrow, or which car will drive, or I will stay on food shubbish forever. So this pressure is always coming in, and these are triggers.
Yes, thank you. From a female perspective, let's have Lillian.
There are really so many, but I would like to start with the financial stress.
Yes.
Because whether you are young, whether you're youth, whether you are older, you really need money. And this is where time comes. You have a lot of responsibilities. You have family. You have to look after your young ones. Maybe you are the firstborn in the family. You have to look after yourself. And when you look around you, really the financials are down. That makes you to feel stressed. And you are like, how am I going to go through this? You might have debts. People get loans to start up businesses. But a person becomes overwhelmed with the stress for the loan. And this is where the financials are not coming in for him, maybe to see that he beats up the deadline. We can also have, having poverty is also something not good. Because wherever you go to the village, maybe you have your grandmoms, the people around Sabantu be Kampala bazi. But for you deep inside, you know that really
You're not even broke.
I'm not among the Bantu be Kampala. When they say, maybe he has brought something, and this is where the person you have maybe gone to see is going to hide the little things you have brought, because she or he cannot even survive for a week with things you have brought. And this is where Mwabantu Kampala are the people who pack everything.
When you're coming
And
back
this
to
is
Kampala.
where you
I'm
live.
telling you.
Yeah, this is where I live, even when you have taken the sugar, the bread, which you took. And the people who are saying are like, let me go and greet that person. Maybe I'll get some 20,000. You get ashamed around the people who are there. So we can also have that, like the health issues. And you be like, this happens, let me bring out the reality. we ladies, some people get in for sex when they are not ready. I don't know whether people are also around here involved in that, but for us, we are adults. I don't know whether it's a reality.
Children of God.
But again, this is where we have heard of so many issues about this, where a girl can go in for sex and she's like, Lillian, I'm missing my periods, but this happened on this day. I'm not seeing my periods, but I'm feeling something shaking inside me. And am I pregnant? Should I go for a test up? You feel headache. Am I sick? So all that brings that stress which we really face in the daily lives. Yes, it can be changing a job. You are used of these people. You are used with your boss, the workmates, but they tell you, you know what, you are transferring you to Masaka.
Hey.
And you start thinking, how am I going to live? How am I going to be in the village? That change. How am I going to leave my friends in Kampala and stay isolated in Masaka? So many things bring out that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Rachel.
Well, thank you so much. As youths, we always try to make ends meet in all perspectives of life. We try to make ends meet financially, we try to make ends meet socially, spiritually, and trust me, we end up getting stress. And I wanted to put more light about what my sister just said. We always get our friends, like the girls, they get involved in sexual activities, and then they are anxious. When are my periods coming? Then they come to us, the nurses, do you know how to count step days? I was in my last period, came on this day. So they become so anxious, thinking about getting pregnant when they are not yet ready. And then also the other thing, spiritually, we get stressed. People of our age brackets, we are having elders of our age brackets. So they get that stress whereby they always encourage them that an elder should be like this, and so they become stressed. They have to live a life of a church elder, and yet they are still youths. They fear to associate with the female gender because they'll be like, Elder Edwin is with Lillian, So they get so stressed, like those young men, and so even financially, my friends, the financial aspects really stresses us a lot, because this is the age where it is our foundation. We have our different careers, and you have to look forward to the future. What do I want to become in the next 10 years? What should I be possessing in the next 10 years? And so as you see age moving on, you'll be like, I'm growing up, I'm not getting married, I don't have this, I expected by this age I would be having this, but things failed. So you get up stressed and get this depressed.
Thank you so much.
You're
That was
welcome.
very insightful. Edwin, can you speak more to this, especially comparison? And we are pressured so much. People around us seem to be doing certain things, and maybe we are not doing them, and that puts us on tension. Because maybe your friends are buying plots of land, they are constructing, they are sharing their proposal videos and the pictures, and there seems nothing going on in life, and then you're on tension because of some of these things.
Yeah, and it happens a lot. A lot. I do have friends who are so much well off, buying plots of land, changing cars, marrying, doing so many things, and there is pressure. And not only from you, but even the people around you.
Yes.
Because they say, birds of the same feathers.
Flock
but
together.
I think you don't belong to this flock.
You
Yeah,
are a hen.
it happens so much, but one thing is true. Each one of us has their own lives.
Yes.
See, God has planned us for several purposes, for different purposes. And that is key to understanding this comparison thing. God might have created Edison to represent us in Parliament. But he might not have created me for that. So when I try to compare myself to him, it will not match and it will stress me, because I'm designed for something
Else.
different compared to him. Maybe God designed Brother Musinguzi to take care of an orphanage, and so God has blessed him with a lot of money, such that he can fulfill that. But my calling is to go out and preach the message to the people, and so I'll be as broke as Jeremiah, maybe, but life is still okay. That doesn't mean that. So I believe when we understand that, we get helped a lot. But if not, the world we are really living in, there is so much that is going on that if you compare yourself to, stress will overwhelm you.
Yes.
You'll be so anxious, you will fear for the future. So I believe it's very important to really understand that we are designed for different things.
Yes.
That doesn't stop us from working.
Yes, Lillian.
They usually say, at the right thing, beautiful things happen.
At the right
At the right time, yes.
At the right time, beautiful things always happen. When you compare yourself with others, sometimes it makes you to fall into what you are not ready for. This is where we can compare people in the Bible. There are some who produced at an early age, and there are some people who produced at a very old age. They always talk about KFC. This person got success in almost 70
Yeah,
years.
about 70 years.
But there's someone who can be even driving himself at the age of 18. And that person is building somewhere.
The young man we lost recently, Rajiv Ruperalia, 35 he had literally built got everything. Yes, but someone else at 35 is just starting.
So let's always wait for our right time, which God has prepared for us to become successful, not to compare ourselves with others.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
actually, still talking about that very point, I now want to bring it to us in our churches. These things are not happening out there in the world only, but even in our churches, there are these triggers that happen that bring us stress, that bring us fear. There are actually people in our churches that fear that they are not going to be saved,
Yes.
that they might not go to heaven, and they are constantly afraid. There are people in our churches that are stressed because you are an elder and we are soliciting what? Money for land, and you have been given a certain goal that you feel is too much for you, and
Yes.
so you are undergoing stress.
Yes.
Yeah, there are people that are stressed because of the responsibilities that have been given to them in church. I don't want us to overlook that because it's very important to also address it inside our church, such that we know how to deal with these, to handle these things and maneuver through them as Christians, but as people that are in the world as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's talk about the fear of rejection. And this comes in so many aspects. Maybe that promotion that you're looking forward to, and then maybe you're not the person it is going to be given to. Maybe being rejected in relationships, things like that, at work, and in our day-to-day lives. What do you say about that, Brother Laban?
I always tell my friends, because I don't know, many of my friends run to me when they have problems, and mostly the relational problems.
A counselor.
So I always tell them one thing, that God has a better plan.
Yes.
Okay, at first such things may be hard to perceive, to partake them in. And you may not see the bigger picture there because you're stressed, But when I have a testimony, things have come and go. But now when you look back, the things you cried for, you're like, God, thank you, this went. There are jobs that go. Recently, I lost a job, Sabbath. But today I can testify that there was a big opportunity coming. Yes, the Sabbath issue, yes, but God now comes in. It is, these things are hard. The patience, these things that we always talk about, they are not for us. Our nature, as in, our nature doesn't welcome them, the patience, the selflessness, but we have, our sister was saying that, can you wait until that time, the 30 years, the 40 years, But you have to wait. Sometimes you try to force, but you will find yourself still in the same path. You're here. God is tossing you because you're not yet there. You have not reached, you've not got those abilities and those traits to handle what you want for. And God is still preparing you. So you have to be patient, whether you want or not. But good things will come.
Thank you very much, brother. Rachel, you are the health worker here.
Yes, please.
How do I know that I am not okay? How do I know that I am stressed, that I am anxious, and that it's getting out of hand? How do I be able to know?
Okay, thank you very much. When you find a person who is usually quiet or an introvert, and then out of the blue they start talking, they want to just about football, want just about the different films, they want to talk to everybody, just know that that person is having one of the three. Is either stressed or is anxious or he's what? The other thing.
Fearful.
Yes, fearful. So even likewise to the person who is jolly, who welcomes people, and you see them isolating themselves, seated somewhere, buried in
In
thoughts.
other words, when you are starting to be the opposite of,
Yes,
Of
of
what they
yourself.
usually are. Yes.
Yes. So
Maybe a person who is used to posting so much, all of a sudden they are no longer
they
posting.
disappear.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a friend of mine. She happened to get pregnant, and all of a sudden, and she was in church, serving very well, very active. She was everywhere, and then all of a sudden, she disappeared from social media completely. Even calling her phone, ngateitamu. So she disappeared.
went to
Seeing
hell.
her, yes, she went to seeing her again when she's having a baby, and then she was like, Rachel, I got stressed, church elders looking at me, then these, sorry to say, but the elders' ways, they always be like, why are you like this girl? Why are you like this girl? Don't be like her. So that rejection also from the church, instead the church which would have welcomed her, it also pushed her away. So she hid herself, and she's just trying to come back and to get used to the situation that she's now a mother, but she still loves her God. Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
I
Lilian.
think another sign can be having sleepless nights.
Yes.
You go to bed, the sleep is not coming because you know in the morning landlord is coming for her rent.
Yeah.
You know I'm having exams but I'm not having the clearance card. And you feel like, God, what is going to happen tomorrow? How is the day going to be? Sometimes someone can lose appetite. They bring the food on the table. But when you think that things are not well financially in a relationship, actually it always comes to us people who are in that relationship, which is usually new. And you like, someone is just leaving me on blue tick.
You know?
Someone is not giving me the attention.
How could-
Hello, I'll call you back. And you feel like, is the relationship okay? Are we going to break up? What did I do? You feel like you cannot even eat what is on the what,
On the
however
plate,
nice it is. So we have different signs where you can come to know that, stress is eating me up.
Some other signs, something small, and
Yes, because of time, we're going to take a short break, and I think we're going to start from that note. When we come back from the break, I'm going to start with you. But also, we shall go into details of how we can be able to overcome some of these stresses, anxieties here and there, and how we can become more peaceful people as young people. Without peace, we can't do so much. You can't do so much when you're on tension. You can't grow, you can't build, you can't network when you're on tension, and all those things. We take a short break, and we come back shortly. This is the Youth Voice Show. welcome back from that very short break. We are talking about anxiety, fear, and stress, finding peace, and this is a Youth Voice show. Remember, you can find us on the different service providers. You can find us on the Hope Channel app, and also you can find us on YouTube. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and share and invite your friends to follow and watch our program. Now, just before we went for the break, Rachel, you had something to say and then I cut you off. Could you please just proceed from there?
Thank you so much. I was still adding on to the signs.
Yes.
Sometimes some signs of anxiety, we call them bowel movements. Like you go to toilet frequently, even if you've not drank water, you go for short calls. Then after having the short call, 2 minutes later, the long call gives you a call. So that's another sign. Then also, I personally experienced it. I was studying at Mingo Nursing School. I was a student and used to work day shifts and night shifts. And then sometimes you could work a night shift and then you have a lecture early in the morning. So they could tell us that, why have you missed the lectures? And why didn't you come back early from the wards? And you couldn't tell them that we call them sisters, those big nurses. The sister delayed to come, or the other person who was relieving me from the duty. So I happened to go to the disciplinary committee for such cases. And they could tell us to come off from the duties, and then you go to the administration blocks without eating. So the glucose levels were low. The blood pressure was low also. And then I found myself becoming dizzy up to the ground. So I was stressed physically and emotionally. So I found myself on the floor and they started getting an emergency that the blood pressure is low because of what? Just because of stress.
How about anger?
So much.
I have realized this with myself. Whenever I'm on tension or I have some things disturbing me, I actually get easily irritated. And I express this when I go to class to teach. I find myself becoming easily irritated with my students. I can easily shout at them. So and I've known that it's a problem, and then I try to control it before it goes out of hand. But is that also a sign? Can it be a sign to others as well?
Yes, it can.
Some have had they even sweat.
Yes. You see someone sweating the nose here, the forehead.
Okay.
People in Uganda think that people who sweat their nose, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, some people can actually get quarrelsome and those things.
Yeah.
True.
For no reason, you're off.
Yes.
This is where your boss comes. You have put everything in order, but because this person had conflicts with the wife or the children at home, he starts shouting to you out of the blue. It usually also happens to the parents if maybe a mother got with the dad. This is where you just do something small and the mom comes out of the bedroom. Why is the cup here? Have you brought water? So always those things also can even affect someone who has not been maybe in such a conflict where the children suffer because of the mom and the dad.
Yes. Now, thinking now that we've fully understood the different fears, anxieties, and what stresses young people, how do we then overcome this? Laban?
Overcoming. I have overcome some, but sometimes you may not tell how. But of course, there are habits. There are habits that will help you overcome. First of all, when you're stressed, maybe something triggers your stress. Maybe I was a student, and maybe there is a problem of tuition. At home, there is no hope. Time is running. It is important, or anything, it is important that you pause and breathe.
Yes.
And instead of being in constant anxiety and fear, you start thinking, which other door can open? Which person can I contact? Which elder can give that counsel? Which plan B? And as you pray, instead of being in a state of of faithless resignation, as in you have resigned completely. There is no hope. There is nothing to do. Now, that is the worst thing. As you keep trying, thinking, contacting this one and this one, praying, doors start to open. And mostly for the students, you have a tuition problem. And you know it is stressing you. It is even you're failing even to read books because you're stressed. And at the end of the day, last day tuition comes in.
But you're going to fail the exam because you've been worrying about it.
You spend a lot of time stressing yourself.
Yes.
Instead of at least pausing, do what you can do, pray, think, contact people, solutions will come. If they fail to come, well and good. God has a plan tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. Rachel.
Thank you so much. I would like to speak to particularly some group, like people who have lost their loved ones. They mix stress, fear, and anxiety in one basket. There are some things that are constant, that the person gone is gone, and the person won't come back. I advise crying. Get
Cry it
time
out.
and cry it out. Yes.
When you cry,
These
you
people
really
who who think they are very strong.
We are
when they
oriented that men don't cry.
Those things are not good. Please cry. If you've lost your wife, cry. If you've lost your child, anybody,
If they are broken up with you,
yes, cry. Because at least it gives a weight out. You relieve your heart from something. Then the other thing I advise people to do exercises, like deep breathing exercises. Now, for example, when you're scared, let me say you have a presentation at campus, you made your research, but you know that anxiety, you're sweating, but if you take a deep breath, yes, some fear is lost somewhere, somehow. Yes, like you kind of relieve your brain, because if the head is packed with fear, you can't even present well, and yet you studied, but you're having that self-esteem. But if you take a deep breath, and also seeking support from others, talk to someone that, you know what, I'm having this issue and this issue. In that you don't die alone in silence. And what kills people most is keeping quiet.
yes.
The more you keep quiet, because there is a saying that when you speak out, the problem is half solved.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
Edwin.
Yes, thank you so much. I don't know whether I'm over spiritualizing things, but
No problem.
all these things that bring fear,
Yes.
stress, and anxiety are because most of the times we have no control over them. But I mean, there is a God who has control over all these things.
Yes.
And he looks at everything. He knows its end. He knows the beginning. He knows the end and whatever. I believe that is always the first point to start from.
True.
We need to develop our spiritual lives. We need to have a relationship with God where God talks to us and we talk to him, because he's overall. What you're dealing with, you have no control over. And even your father, I've been in a situation where my dad plainly told me, I cannot help you. I don't know how to do what. Because most of the time we look up to them. There are those cases whereby even your friends will not be able to do what? To help you. So it's very important, first and foremost, to have a relationship with
God.
with God, because he's the one that has said that be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through thanksgiving, supplication, and prayer, make your requests known to who?
To God.
Make your requests known to God. Now, when we know that God is in control, things become different. When you know, and when you have built your relationship to that level that you surely know. I remember my dad used to tell me that, me, as long as I have prayed to God, I stopped doing what? I stopped
Worrying.
over-stressing myself about something. Because he knows. He knows what to do. Yeah, when you look at... I'm done with that. When you look at these other financial burdens that stress us, I mean, this is why it's very important to have connections with your friends. You know, you have to be part of a social group.
People that can stay
Yes, social club. I've had friends that we've done projects that I would never do by myself. So, you're trying to prevent something here. You're trying to prevent something. Be part of a group that can help you. Be part of a group whereby you can invest together and lessen these financial what? Stresses, burdens. These people can come in, these people can help you, these people can, push you going forward. Another issue that I wanted to talk about is this of comparing yourself with other people and whatever you feel you're not enough, self-worth and whatever. I mean, understand that you are designed differently. I give you an example, Jeremiah. I mean, you have King David, he was very wealthy. He did his purpose, but you also have Jeremiah.
Yes.
He was not really wealthy. He did not have. But he lived his life to the fullest. He fulfilled his purpose. So we have different purposes. And why we get into this stress thing, anxiety, and it's because we fail to understand that God has designed us for something. So have time and understand your life. Understand yourself. Who am I? Who did God create me to be? What is my purpose? When you know that, you will not be running after everything. It will help you. It will help you overcome. When you understand yourself, when you understand your purpose, it will help you overcome these things that are burdening us.
Yes. Thank you.
How self-care? Like, look after yourself. Make sure that you have the balanced diet, however stressed you are. But if you can maybe have something to eat on the table and you can afford that, at least you go with that. Hang out with friends. Sometimes wherever I meet with my matron, Rachel, we usually laugh and we don't know where our words come from. So even if you were stressed and you meet, you laugh, you talk, you do what? You forget that you are having. And this is where he says, okay, goodbye, and say goodbye and remember. There is So take time to see that your life, however much you are going through a lot, if you make some money, you have struggling for money, please appreciate yourself.
Yes.
And say, yes, I've made it by God's grace.
Take yourself to KFC.
To KFC, yeah? Take yourself to KFC. Take the selfies. Post people will say, this person is well off. Yet you deep inside, you know yourself that things are not moving on at the right path. So someone said, do you have a problem? Do you have a solution? Then why do you worry? And if you have a problem and you don't have and you have a solution, then why worry? If you don't have a solution for any of those, just take life easy. Things always happen, and people move out of the challenges they always go through.
There is a song that I love. It says, through it all. There's a line that says, if we never had problems, how could we know that God can solve them?
Yeah.
And another quote I love says that if a mountain was smooth, you could not climb it. That challenges are part of life. Right? You need those ups and downs, stress here and there. And by the way, you know that having no stress at all is a problem. You need some moderate stress for you to be able to move from one step to another. Because if you're not stressed at all, you're going to be so comfortable and you remain in one place. If you're overly stressed, you want to concentrate. So you need some mild stress to keep you going. Moderate. Yes. You need some bit of anxiety here and there to keep you on some bit of tension, and you actually get to do some things. Personally, what helps is mainly journaling and keeping a diary. So I write it down. Whatever is bothering me, I'll put in my diary. And some time after several weeks or months, I'll read through. I'm like, so this was actually bothering me. How small it was, how naive I was. But it actually helps me to let it out on paper. And then also, what has also helped me very much as a person is having an understanding of what I am going through. If you're going through challenges from a point of information, you have a better standing than someone who's going through things and they have no idea what it is. They don't know what to do. So surrounding yourself with different sources of information that can be able to help you know about, if you have a disease and you know how to solve it, it becomes so easy. So maybe I can go here for help. Maybe I can get out of it like this. So I think as young people, we have to learn to equip ourselves with information about what we're going through. Don't be naive about things. Yesterday, we were doing something and something went wrong, and I was forced to go online and get some PDFs on crisis management. It's something I had not paid attention to. I was like, okay, I was forced to go and look for something to learn about this. How do you handle crisis? How do you remain calm when things are not going right? When you're on tension, how do you be able to remain calm? As young people, we are leaders. You won't be on tension all the time when people are looking up to you. Yes. I want us to speak about contentment and also seeking help. Now, these are not things that we normalize sometimes. We think it's weak to go to people and open up to them. And also, we are not so much content. We are always, even when you achieve your targets, you are jumping to the next one. Yes, let's talk about this.
Contentment, if not understood well, you may mistake it for complacency
Yes, thank you.
or
Settling for less.
or arrivalism,
Yes.
settling for less, being faithless and accepting that I have failed. But that is not the true concept of contentment. Now in the Bible, someone who teaches me contentment most is Paul. Now there is no one more authoritative like Paul to teach about this topic, who once had everything and then almost had nothing according to the world's standards. And to Paul, writing to Timothy, he tells him that contentment and godliness is of a great gain. And to Paul, it is not just in scarcity, but also in abundance. Because the people who are more or less content are those that have even much. So it is something we must build. But while we have these pressures of, yes, there is something better, because always there will be something better. Contentment doesn't tell us to sit and
do nothing
and kill the ambition to progress, to grow. Rather, contentment teaches us, or it comes to inspire us, that while we're on this journey of progress to grow, I'm not constantly anxious of what I lack. Yeah, I have that calm and composure that while there are things I'm lacking, but I keep pushing and growing, and tomorrow things will be better while I trust in God.
Wow, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you very much for that perspective. Yes.
Sometimes people are not contented because they don't appreciate what they have. You can look at yourself and you look at your background. You ask yourself, how have I been able to make it up to this step? And you appreciate that. If we learn to appreciate things we have and we don't compare ourselves with others, that can make you to feel like what I'm having is made for me, and I know more things are coming in future. But if you look at another person and you compare yourself with that person, you come from different backgrounds, you went to different schools, you are in different careers, but you want to be like that person, then you are not going to make it in life. Appreciate what you have.
Yes. And I think somehow it's okay to compare if we are learning. There's no evil in saying, but this person has actually done this.
Yes,
I can also do it. And you're motivated, right? But the problem is when we have to keep comparing ourselves to others in a way that seems to demean what we are doing.
Yes.
And then we end up doing what we shouldn't be doing because we want to get what other people have. Yes, Rachel and then Edwin.
Thank you very much. I want to bring out this issue of social media. You know, as youths, we are
Thank you.
always on social media.
Yes.
So you get people posting fake life, faking that they are somewhere in a fancy place, like they fake life, the life you would wish to have, you as the youth. But if you're not contented with what you have, and we get to be in a society where we have people from different backgrounds, you can find someone from a well-off family, and you've been in a struggling family. Now, when even you're at your place, your mom can be saying that you're going to school, but things like that. So we get to, let me say, campus. You're joking with books, but the person you're joking with, they have connections. And then you want to live a life they are living. You want to have the Samsung or iPhone thingy, and then you forget that you are different people and you have different capacities. And then the other thing, contentment should not, my friends have tackled it, they should not remove the ambition in us that we
Yes.
have to do
The fire
better.
to win.
Yes, appreciate yourself. If you've achieved something, let me say an education level, appreciate yourself that Rachel, well done for this.
Yes.
But then what next? You have
Celebrate
to
every
look
win.
further. You have to develop yourself in all aspects, financially, spiritually, socially, and everything.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, Edwin.
Yes, thank you. Just to start with contentment. Contentment does not imply that there's nothing lacking,
Yes.
or there won't be any want wherever. But what contentment does is it appreciates what it has, trusting in God that
Yes.
God will provide whatever will be needed. That is contentment. Now, when we come to seeking help, very, very important. No man is an island.
Yes.
We are like these fingers. They are not equal. Now, it's very important for us to understand that, so that it can be easy for us to go to people who are better than us in some aspects and can help build us up where we are lacking in those areas that are bringing us fear, anxiety. If they are finances, you can find somebody who can better advise you on how to deal with your financial life. Seek help from them. If you are scared of something, it could be marriage, it could be a relationship. There are so many people that have been married and they are married and they are successful.
Yes.
Find help from them, talk to them, and they will help you. That's why God has put all these people around us. Somewhere in the book of Proverbs, I think, it tells us that the person who seeks counsel from others is a wise one.
Yeah.
So let us seek help where we are distressed, and it will be well
Yeah.
with us.
On that, I have a verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, the verses 3 and 4. That blessed the God of all comfort, who comforts us in our tribulation,
Yes.
that we comfort those who are in tribulations with the comfort that we receive from God, implying that it is a two-way street. That as you seek for comfort, you must be ready to offer comfort also.
Great.
Yeah, because there are people you're better.
Yes.
And they will come to you. So it's not that you will show this guy you have less, or your burden is way less than mine. Stay silent on your side and offer what he has come for. Then look also for your solutions.
And by the way,
somewhere.
that's powerful.
Yes.
In helping others, we help ourselves in turn.
Something to add on what Brother Laban has said, that you should also be ready to comfort someone. At times when we at least reach somewhere, like some of our friends, we tend to, to leave some class of people and be like, these are not now in my lane. And yet those friends you're cutting off, they really need your help, because they can be asking you, how have you made it? But if you put that boundary that right now I'm at this level, so I shouldn't associate with people like this, that one is very wrong. And also to us who really desire to reach somewhere, we shouldn't take it as a fear or being weak, that seeking for help or guidance, And in this generation, it's very funny, whereby we think that we can manage everything. We have Google, we have everything. So you think that me with my phone, with my laptop, I can live my life, and we forget that no man is an island.
This has been the Youth Voice Show, and here on Hope Channel Uganda. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for loving this show. Keep sharing it. Please share the link and invite as many people as possible to watch, that we all can be able to learn together. May God bless you, and from myself and the rest of the team here at Hope Channel Uganda, see you next time.